Out of there, mate. Look. This guy's got a limp. It's definitely a limp. He's got a limp. Anyways, let's hope I don't slip. Ducks make mess. So this here is the sheep mulched area. And I'm not going to lie, it didn't work the first time. And the reason being is because it's very windy here, as you know. There was deer going everywhere, like rodents had made a mansion out of it, so they just exposed it. And you give like a weed, or a wildflower I should say, an unwanted wildflower, a little bit of light, it would take it. They give it an inch, it would take a mile. So yeah, so net was in here. We had potentilla, if you see this VT right now. So it was just covered. But the thing is, I wasn't fussed because I knew, like some would say, like all the kind of nutrients and the 11 layers I put down might have been a bit too kind of too many nutrients for the plants, but at the same time potentilla went in there. There's stinging nettles coming out of it because that means it's high in nitrogen, which is great. So plants did cope. But then I was a bit like, oh, how am I going to rectify this? I thought about sheep mulching again, but then I was like, I've got 19 ducks. So what I've been doing is every couple of days is just putting their food in different places. So at first I was just mainly sprinkling it in here. As you can see, it's kind of, look, that the hose pipe is pretty much buried. It's like thick in here. It's like quick mud, this bit. And then I started sprinkling it around here, putting it down here. So in time, what I'm doing is slowly just kind of not getting rid of the grass. That wasn't my bum, that was just the mud here, if you heard that. So so yeah, just sprinkling it. There's lots of potentilla here, but yeah, basically I've just been chucking food on the actual kind of sheep mulch area, and look, it's just suppressed pretty much all the wildflowers that I don't want on here. So, but yeah, so this is what happened. This is the sheep mulch area. This is it. I had a problem, but then I had the solution straight off. Like, it's, yeah, you can think, oh, I might have failed, it might have failed, but these things happen. Like I said, it was windy here, deer were trotting on it. There's so many little things that I neglected it. I didn't really think, because most time when you do sheep mulching, it's in your garden, so you can see it day to day, so you can rectify some bits, because sometimes birds come down, they scratch away at the thing, and you think, oh, we have to put more soil on it, type of stuff like that. So, and I told you before, I said it again, I've sheep mulched 1.5 acres, and there's so much more, there's a lot of ground they're going to keep on top of. But then, yeah, it went turn into a wildflower, a meadow, and I was happy with that. So, but yes, I don't want to turn this into a wildflower meadow. I want to utilize it and use it in the future and stuff. So yeah, so here you go. But whilst you're here, I'm not gonna say bye yet. I'll show you something that I've got planned in the future. It's in the chicken now. These guys were sunbathing just now, so it's very slippery in here too. They do a similar thing with the ground. They're messing up the place. But I'm not going to focus on this. We'll talk about compost another day. But this is the area. Everyone's following me. I'm not got no food. You guys eating already. This area here is going to be sheep mulch. And as you can see the bogginess of it. There's rush over there, so you know it's boggy. Stinging nettles here. I've been slowly trying to eradicate them. I can sheep mulch over stinging nettles, but they're quite thuggish. They'll just be like, they just punch through the cardboard and just be like, you ain't killing me, bitch. But yeah, so I've been digging up this stinging nettles, not getting rid of them totally, just chucking them in here and then kind of having them grow through here basically, because I don't mind stinging nettles coming through, I just rather them not here. So I was going to put some cardboard down and sheep mulch the old traditional way, but I thought I'll use some seaweed. So this is kind of fresh seaweed. This is kind of like kelp we've got here. We've got serratus here, different types of seaweed, pretty much all do the same thing. They all taste good too. And you've got different ways of cooking them that. So basically what I'm going to do is kind of sprinkle some seaweed, because with the seaweed comes sand as well. There's lots of shrimp in there, it's very good for the soil. If you're new to seaweed, seaweed's got iodine and cytokinins, which kind of promote good growth, kind of antioxidant levels and strong roots. So that's what you want with your plant, especially living out here because it's very windy and it's tough and hard. You have to be really hardy. So, and help with the drainage. Because yeah, it's kind of boggy down. I don't as much as I don't mind when it's wet, because you don't have to do so much water in. Some plants don't like wet feet and they kind of tend to kind of die, and that's so yeah. But what I'm hoping to turn this place into is just basically a nice kind of chicken vegetable garden, but just like everything go wild. Like if you might have seen Russian kale, it just goes bonkers. It spreads like crazy, like kale and chard and kind of Brussels sprouts. Just basically have lots of plants in there, just do what they're doing with like a nice meandering path just going through for me to kind of come in and crop. And what I'll do as well, because I'm going to cordon this bit off, I still need to kind of block off that area down there, just this bit, because they can get through around the back. It's just, yeah, so once a week I can open this up, have them come in here, because chickens are like plagues that come to veg. They just decimate, they just be in here like that. So come in here, open it once a week, close it up, leave it for another week, and then we can come in here too and get a crop as well, because it'd be nice, like fresh greens being fertilized by these guys, looked after, getting the pests, letting them get rid of the pests whilst having a feed at the same time. And And yeah, it's just going to be a lovely little patch, and I'm hoping to extend it once. I've said this before, but I keep saying it. They're going to extend this area so then they can have more places to play. I can have a bigger veg patch like this for them to eat in that, and yeah, just have lots of compost piles so they can have fun with it. But check this out as well. Come here, look, I almost turned the camera off, but I forgot to show you this thing. Have a look. I got this the other day. This stuff stinks, and look at these. Like, I can't remember the name. I put them bottom of the screen, but you see these little flies like bouncing around. They're coming off the seaweed. I once had bags of this in the van and old chickens in the van. I thought it was the old chickens. I was thinking, what they got? They brought like flipping fleas. So they do bounce like fleas. I think they're sand flies. But anyways, this stuff here stinks. If there was smell-o-vision, honestly, it smells so bad. And I don't want to touch it because it cakes, it lingers for a long time. So I got stuck here on the beach trying to take this out, but it was well worth it. And I gave some to and the mummy-in-law, keep her sweet. So yeah, this stuff is pretty much well-rotted seaweed, really well-rotted. Like you can see the holes in some of the stuff. There's massive maggots in here too. Huge maggots that'll keep the chickens happy. And what I'll do, I'm just going to lollop it and just chuck it in that little area I was showing you earlier, and have this spread around, and it will just start to rot down and kind of feed the worms too, because lots of worms in here too, lots of shrimp. And yeah, so the chickens will spread it in time. Because I find with the big kelp stuff, yeah, this stuff is quite cumbersome and they won't be able to break out of the way, but it will rot down in time. Scratching through this, see how easy it breaks up? It just proper breaks up like that, and it's kind of, chickens will just spread that around and just shred it up for me, so I won't have to kind of do the hard work. They can do it for me. That's what I love about chickens. So there you have it, guys. So a little bit of little sheep mulch update. Definitely come back if you're new here to find out how this goes on. Honestly, make sure you bring your nose pair or your mask, because it's going to be funky, it's going to be stinky. It's going to be a smelly day. But I know this won't do the whole lot, so what I'll do, I'll empty this, and then I'll take you guys to see where I get it from, because honestly, it's like, this is the time of year for seaweed, I tell you, because the storms just batter the seas and then just wash up all the seaweed, and it's just like, you're just standing there, just honestly. At one point, I was thinking, there's more seaweed than sand. That's what it looks like. You're just looking, it's just all like kind of burgundy brown, just covering the beach. So, and it's just, you're never short of seaweed here, which is great. So yeah, I'm going to use seaweed for the first time as a sheep mulch. I've never done that before. Well, I've used it, but not just by itself, and see how that goes, because a lot of the locals use this here because it's such a kind of an easy resource to get. There's organic matter for days here, all organic. So kind of, I love this place. Honestly, I do love living here. It's really, really nice. People are nice. It's very chilled, lovely rhythm. So, but anyways, I'm blabbing. I'm not going to cry. But yeah, it's just a great place. So again, thank you guys for watching. And if you're new here, consider subscribing to see how this goes. Because yeah, just have fun with it. We're going to see and make a lovely kind of, what do you call it? Chicken kitchen garden. And also, a little fact, seaweed can take up to 6 months to biodegrade. Well, not biodegrade, to break down. There you go, to break down. So that's why I'm doing it now, getting the seaweed on there. This is pretty much broken down, so it's like I'm kind of cheating really, but I thought why not, instead of getting all the fresh stuff to let it break down. Because it all depends where you are really, because it depends on the heat and the humidity and all that kind of stuff. All these things factor in. So with this stuff, it's kind of really kind of, like I said, you've seen it before, it just kind of crumbles in my hand. With the chickens, I'll spread it about 6 months from now. It will be like growing season, October, well November, just November, December, January, February, March, April. So end of March, ready to grow here. That's when kind of growing season, you can start planting stuff outside. So it's a win-win. So anyways, peace and hugs, people. Thank you very much for watching. If you're here, well, if you've been here from this for a long time, and if you're new here, thanks again as well. And if you're new here, consider subscribing so you can see how this goes. And remember, it's not just my agenda, it's yours too.